Don't tell anybody, but we're not gonna polish this truck before we coat it.
Polishing a truck or a vehicle before coating it is actually overrated. This thing is new. It's never been washed before. So there's no wash marring, there's no love marks on it. It's as it came from the dealership, and the dealership, it's as it came off the truck. So it is very, very new. It hasn't had any abuse whatsoever. Therefore, we don't need to polish it. The other aspect of that is the owner of this truck, probably not gonna keep it more than a year, and he goes through a car wash at least twice a week. We know the truck is gonna get abused. The coating is going to help it survive that abuse. And if you go down in the description below, after you watch this video, you can see another video where we actually took my car through 74 car washes. But watch this one first.
The average person thinks this is what their new car is gonna look like.
Yeah.
Like, talk about the difference between what we're seeing here and what most people experience when they get a new car.
Well, when you experience a new car, sometimes the dealership has washed it, sometimes it's been sitting on the lot for a while, it might have been in the showroom. All sorts of things could have gone on with that vehicle. This one, we know, it's straight off the truck. It has had no abuse in its life before. And it's gonna be abused a lot after this because, like I said, the owner goes through a car wash on a regular basis.
Worth noting that we have rinseless wash diluted at 256:1, which is 1 ounce of product to 2 gallons of water. Yes, you could actually hand spray this out of a 32-ounce trigger sprayer. This is just much more convenient, but you folks out there could do this at home without any fancy tools and just a bottle of rinseless wash.
Right. So on the surface, there's basically nothing. There's some pollen sitting on here.
There's some pollen, so you can see how I'm getting close with the sprayer. I'm probably wasting a little bit. I wouldn't call it wasted. I'm flushing the pollen off.
Right.
Because I don't want you to hit that pollen on a horizontal surface with your wash sponge, with the legacy sponge. So I just want to get it off. This is going to mimic the pressure washer. So you don't always do it this way, but now we're about to coat this. I want to keep the paint in pristine condition. Just get a little of this pollen off and the rest will be easy peasy.
Well, we recently had a Ram TRX on the channel. A big bright blue truck with flared fenders and way high up in the air, all that fun stuff. This one almost seems small now.
This is still an excellent truck, which is what happens in detail world when you start to work on really nice cars. You look at a truck like this, you're like, whatever. And then you're like, no. This thing's nice.
So Nick, I'll let you do the roof and finish the hood.
Perfect.
While I start decontaminating at the back.
Okay.
So for the decontamination, we're using our perforated synthetic decontamination towel. The rinseless wash is all the lubrication we need. This vehicle, literally the towel just glides along, so there's no contamination whatsoever, but we're doing this as a preparatory step just to make sure in case there might be some somewhere. Now those of you cringing at the moment saying, you're scratching the paint, you're wrong. I'm not scratching the paint in any way, shape, or form. The perforated synthetic decontamination towel, or PSD towel, or decon towel, depending on how you want to look at it, is perfectly safe on paint for a couple reasons. I'm using a quality lubrication. I'm not putting any pressure whatsoever on the towel. And the surface has no grit on it to begin with. So the surface itself is not taking anything onto this towel.
Okay, here's a question, Ivan. You've done the rinseless wash method. You've decontaminated. Are we going to flush this with a hose?
No, no need.
What? Tell the people what's going on.
We don't need to flush or rinse off a rinseless wash. I'm not using iron remover because there's no iron on this. We did a little test spot just to make sure. We know that we're just removing any surface dirt and maybe a bit of contamination that might be on here. Then from there, the rinseless wash, we just dry it off and we're good to go. Big truck, big towel. making sure the surface is nice and dry. We're gonna go back over it one more time with the panel prep, and we'll be ready to coat.
So we wet down these wheels with rinseless wash. I'm just gonna go ahead and wipe it down with ceramic gloss. So this is our drying aid. It protects paint, glass, rim faces. It's an excellent lubrication / protection product for your rims. And the reality here is these were so clean that I just need to wipe it down with some ceramic gloss. Can't believe we're doing a no hose ceramic coating job,
Yep.
Ivan. Never to ever see the day. Now I used to do mobile detailing, and even in the wintertime in someone's garage with a steamer, maybe a couple gallons of distilled water or whatever water you've got. But I never knew if my customer was gonna have water access, right? I didn't want to ask them for, hey, can I come into your kitchen, you know? So I would just have distilled water with me. I did ceramic coating jobs. Just a little bit of compressed air or steam was helpful in case there were tight areas of the car, but yep, it can be done.
You know, one big advantage of doing it this way as well is we have no drips afterwards.
That's awesome.
No water coming out of the cracks. We don't even need the drip catcher.
Known affectionately by some as the Drip Catcher 4000.
I guess.
And by some, I mean by me. If you think we should rename it to the Drip Catcher 4000, if you know what we know, comment down below.
And the only contamination on this vehicle was pollen. Not a lot anywhere on it, so.
Ivan, I'm doing panel prep now. I'm gonna be extra vigilant with panel prep because we haven't used a hose, we're not polishing. I gotta make sure I do this step right. So I'm not gonna spray panel prep onto the paint, I'm gonna spray onto my towel. And I'm gonna use 2 towels. So my first towel is gonna be my initial wipe, and then the second towel is gonna be to follow it up.
Exactly.
A little bit of redundancy here goes a long way.
And you want to be wiping off with the second towel before the panel prep is dried.
Yeah, why is that?
Because the solvents are lifting up the product, and then the second towel is taking away the product. If you let it dry, then it's just going back onto the surface.
So even if it appears dry on the surface, you haven't actually removed all the possible
Oils and greases and all that unfun stuff.
First towel with panel prep before it dries. Second towel for a pristine, squeaky clean surface. That coating is gonna love this paint.
Yeah.
It's gonna love it. It's gonna live there. You're gonna have a long and happy life.
Happily ever after.
Hopefully they get along. I think they will.
They should.
We're setting a good foundation for them.
You know, knowing the customer here, first of all, they're not keeping it more than a year. Secondly, they go through a car wash frequently. So the 3-year is actually the better choice because of the water spot resistance. And we all know that car washes leave water everywhere. And as he's driving away from the car wash, there's drips definitely coming from the mirror, the door handles, the moldings, everywhere else. It's gonna prevent those areas from staining.
I'm looking at the panel here. There's not one scratch on here. There's some orange peel, but that's normal these days, right?
Yeah, that's built in from the factory.
Yep. But not a scratch on the paint.
Which one is your wet towel, the green one?
Green is wet.
Off we go.
I'll follow you.
You done this window?
Not top, not window, nope.
Okay, there we go. And you can really see it on the window here, how it reacts.
Pretty quick. Boy, that went dry quick.
But there shouldn't be any greases or oils on the window, but we'll make sure there isn't.
Boom. Yeah, properly prepping this car is gonna make the paint so receptive to the coating and increase longevity, durability of the coating. We're gonna give it every chance to live up to its durability claim of 3 years.
And you're asking why not polish? Well, there's only a finite amount of clear coat on a vehicle. We know that this one is going to be going through a car wash on a regular basis, meaning we know the paint is going to get abused, and at some point in its life, someone's going to want to polish it. And being as it's a white truck, honestly, when it's this new, The difference between polished and unpolished takes a really, really trained eye to see. And if you're buying a new car, this is something you can do yourself. You can ask the dealership to not wash the car before delivering it to you, just as this person did. And
That's when you know you're a real detailing enthusiast, when you're that guy and you say, dealership, don't have your lot techs touch my vehicle, no washing, don't touch it. Just give it to me, I'll take it from there.
The last new car I bought, the dealership was right across the street from our shop, but they didn't even drop it off at the dealership's lot, they dropped it off at our door. Off the truck, because the dealership wanted nothing to do with it because it was my car.
They knew.
And on this light green towel, all we have so far is panel prep. Not a speck of dirt, nothing.
Nothing.
No. Now you notice we're wearing gloves for two reasons. One, protect us from the chemicals, but more importantly, protect the paint from our sticky little hands.
Yeah, we don't want our fingerprints all over there with our oil and grease on there, and potentially interfering with the ceramic coating bonding to the paint in the way that it's designed.
Exactly. While you're up there on the roof, what's something people can do to help support this channel?
It's free, it's meaningful, it's to subscribe. Please do so. It helps us educate other people, yourself, and if we can educate people and they can buy our product, we'll be here in a year. We won't go out of business. That'll be pretty awesome.
Yeah, exactly.
So subscribe to the channel to say thank you to us, and we say thank you to you in return.
While Nick's getting the coating, I'm getting the towels. Brand new Pearl Weave. It is the ultimate towel for leveling a coating. And Nick, why are you shaking the coating?
This is our graphene coating. It has graphene oxide in there. It's a darker colored solution. So just like with Quick Beads, we're gonna shake up the graphene coating before we use it, folks. If you didn't know that, now you know.
Now, I've got two towels. I have the green one that will be my leveling towel, and the purple one that will just be my little buffing towel after the end. My insurance policy. We'll take that lid away from you, that way you don't have to hold onto it.
Thank you, sir. And about 10 drops on the applicator. I mean, you can't get this wrong. You can certainly use a little bit too much, but you're just gonna wanna take care of that rather quickly. So wherever you start, just remember where you started. If you're gonna do this professionally, start in the same place every time. This front quarter, not a bad place to start.
Exactly.
So, what I'm gonna do, and don't be afraid if you hear a little squeaking early, I'm just gonna box the entire area. I kind of look at Ivan like coloring within the lines.
Yeah,
So I just hit all the edges first. And once I've done that, circular motions. And you talk about circular motions, can you explain what the logic there is?
Yeah, the circular motions do a couple things for you. First of all, they spread the product more evenly, and you have less chance of a high spot. The back and forth motion, every time you stop, you're creating a high spot. This way, there's no high spots to be created if you keep that circular motion going. The other aspect of that is your body. It's a lot easier doing that than any stopping and going. So, now this is white. White is the most difficult color to coat because you can't see the coating on it. You can feel it, but you can't see it. In the shop today, it's a little humid, it's a little warm. It's really warm outside. Our air conditioning is not keeping up. But, like I said, I can barely see it. The only way to do this on white is by feel and timing. We're gonna wait 30 seconds to a minute and then take the towel and wipe across. And if it feels like I'm moving liquid, I stop. I'm not ready yet. And I'm not ready yet. So
You're not ready?
No. So we'll leave it another 30 seconds or so. You can do the next panel.
Okay.
And then I'll try another section. Oh, there we go. So now it's feeling slick. I'm not feeling like I'm moving any liquid around, so I can wipe this panel off.
And when you say wipe, you actually mean level, right?
Right, we're actually leveling the coating. We're spreading it out thinner. Because what we're taking is the high spots and moving them around till they become thin spots.
I did about 5 drops on this pad, Ivan.
Yeah.
And it started to feel grabby. So just trust what it feels like to you, because then I just added about 5 more.
Yeah.
Now I've got more than enough product. I'm gonna make sure I get in these door handles. That's a big deal.
Yeah.
You may even want to do inside of here, right? You're not gonna see it, you're not gonna get any high spots in there. But when you get real thorough with the door handles, you'll just be happy later because you've got protected, easy to clean areas. That's a small thing.
Yeah.
But that's just a Nick tip.
And when you're applying the coating, no pressure on the applicator, just glide it along the surface and always overlap onto the previous panel and the next panel. That way, you're sure you're not missing anywhere.
And speaking of feel, which will come very quickly, after a couple panels, you'll get this down. Right when I went from here to here, I could feel how slick that was. It was like, oh, okay, that's been coated.
Been there, done that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you'll be able to feel very quickly what has been coated and what has not been coated, even though things are changing rapidly at this point in terms of what's happening on the paint.
Yeah.
What is happening on the paint, by the way?
Well, the coating is cross-linking into the surface of the paint. So it's not sitting on the paint, it's actually modifying the first 2 or 3 microns of paint. And in doing so, like I said, it's cross-linking, which means it's joining itself and the coating, the paint all together in one nice symbiotic relationship. Now, Nick has done the door itself, but he hasn't done the mirror and the window. Since I need to wipe the door off, when you're working in a team, he can go to the next door, I can wipe this one off, or level it, while he preps the bottom of that door. And then he can come back, do the top of this one in the mirror.
Oh, I like that, Ivan.
And if you're working alone, take your time, do one panel at a time. Now, if you're not in high humidity like we are today, easy. You do one panel, apply to it, apply to the second panel, come back, level the first panel, apply to the third panel, level the second, and so on. As you can see, I'm not particularly stressed about the leveling. It's very easy.
But you're right, white paint is challenging. You just can't see a dang thing.
No, it is by far my least favorite paint color on a car.
I don't mind it. I think it's a very practical color.
Oh, it is.
If you don't have time to wash your car, although we know this owner and he likes to wash it twice a week, so.
Right. In a drive-through car wash.
I mean, we also are talking about summer conditions. So I live in Utah, there's a lot of sun.
Yep.
I tend to like a white car. I feel like it stays cooler, right?
Oh, definitely.
A black hood in the desert.
But for myself, I've had a lot of black cars over the years. I've only had one white car.
What was it?
1984 Camaro IROC Z, or sorry, Z28 at the time. The IROCs came later. So Nick's done the bottom of this one. Now we can work on the top of the first door.
Perfect.
Oh, still a little damp.
Is it?
So you might have had a little more on your applicator than before. And now that your applicator is primed, you don't need to put as much on every round.
I'm just gonna go all the way up here,
Okay?
just so I complete the circle of life.
Yeah.
I'll follow that body line.
Yeah, and break it into manageable sections that you know where you've been. Okay, and that little 30 seconds more made all the difference in the door. Now the leveling towel is doing its job, doing it well, easily.
There's a lot of plastic here on this mirror because it flips out, because when you're towing you want that mirror to change, and so don't forget that this flips from here on up next time you detail or ceramic coat a truck like this.
We're gonna be leaving the windows till last. That way you're sure you have enough coating for the paint.
I like that method, honestly. And trim. I mean, I did this side mirror here.
Yeah, well, the mirror is.
But yeah, any plastic or windows, I like to save till last.
Yep. Did you do the B-pillar trim?
I did not, no. Let me do that right now. trim is always a nice MRI, mirror, however you want to put it, in terms of how much coating's on your applicator. It's easy to think you don't have much left, and then you put it on plastic or trim and it just like drools all over it. Not the case here. I didn't have a ton left, so sometimes it can get a little hard to tell. And usually you have way too much on your applicator.
Yeah.
Just kind of what I thought was going on there. Ivan, if you wouldn't mind wiping this kind of quickly. I know this, with Dodge Rams, the trim can be a little finicky when you're coating it.
Yeah.
So you get it done quick, level it. Boom. Love that.
So while we finish coating this, you guys can take a look at this video.
If you like ceramic coating jobs, you're gonna learn a lot more by clicking here.